I've embarked on a crazy Football Manager challenge, taking the worst ranked nation in the world and trying to turn them into the best. To help me along the way, I have jacked their youth rating to the absolute max, and I'll also be taking control of the San Marino club side that play their football in Italy. This one, it's going to be a long one, so come on, let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to San Marino. You've all heard of them. They're that team that they don't win any games. They are the lowest ranked national team in the entire world. 210th in the national team rankings, just below places like the British Virgin Islands and Gibraltar and Somalia. They are rubbish. 208 games played in their history, and they have won one game. In 2004, beating Liechtenstein by a singular goal to nil. What a brilliant day that was in the history of this little nation, San Marino. Today's challenge, today's video, is going to be trying to take them from the very bottom to the very top. Can we turn San Marino into an international powerhouse? That is the aim. Now, that in itself is probably pretty much impossible. So, to make it possible, we have jacked up the youth rating of the nation, meaning they're going to produce some decent wonder kids over time. We just need to be patient and maybe foster them and turn them into really good players so that eventually we can maybe win a game, score some goals, maybe just maybe one day get to the very top of those rankings. Not going to be easy, is it? And with this bolstered youth rating and the ability to produce good young players, we're also going to try and develop them using the club side that San Marino have that play in Italy. They play in the Italian League Serie D. It's Victor San Marino. I'm going to try and bring in, and in fact only bring in, San Marinese players to this club. Can only sign players from San Marino and then play them, and then hopefully climb the leagues with the club side and in turn develop the players so that they can win games in the national team. It's going to be a long old journey, but one that is completely unique, and it's going to be a lot of fun to go and do. So, without further ado, I think we should get started. So let's have a look at the national team to begin with. And if I sort them just by their ability here, we have two players that start off, maybe three players that start off as a little bit of standout players. Maybe ones we can kind of build around going forwards. And to give you the full context of how bad they are, this is the best player in the side. It's Filippo Fabbri, who is a centre-back, who can also play right-back, who is, he's not great. He's got 8 passing and, 10 teamwork. He's okay. He plays for Olbia, which is in the Serie C, the 3rd division in Italy there. That really does sum up what a journey we have to go on here, isn't it? Fabbri is one of the players. Another one is Nicola Nani, who is, he's all right. He's not great, is he? He's 23 years old. He also plays for Olbia. Maybe we need to go and raid Olbia a little bit at some point to bring some of these players in. 6'3", so that's a plus point for me. If you're a tall striker, you can probably get into my team. Nicola Nani, Filippo Fabbri. They like the alliteration in these San Marinese names. Eduardo Colombo is the goalkeeper, who also is apparently okay. 22 years old. He plays for Rimini, again in Italy. The same division, actually. Is it in the same league as Olbia? It is. In the Serie C. He's fine. He's fine. He's got a massive value of 28k to 275k. This is what we're working with. He actually hasn't made his San Marino debut yet. Just under 21 appearances so far. I've just had a look at their fixtures as well, and we have drawn a game. We're doing the European Championship qualifiers at the moment, and in this database, we've actually drawn a game Kazakhstan, a 0-0 draw, which is a huge result. We are bottom of our group though. 4 games in, that 1 draw, 3 losses, -9 goal difference, 1 point. It's going to be a tough ask to try and qualify for the European Championships, but that's what we're here for, right? That's what we're in this for. Let's jump forward then. Let's get stuck into this. Let's go and play this first season, and I'll tell you how it all goes, because we're in for one here. Let's get started. Before we do look at the results of the first season, actually, I just want to clarify how difficult this is going to be. I just wanted to explain that the Victor San Marino team, the San Marino team that plays in Italy that we're going to be taking control of too, this is where we're going to focus on bringing through the players. I've also made their youth recruitment and youth facilities up to the very max, which you might think might make it easy, but let me promise you it won't. If you've ever had a team that's right at the very top of all of these youth facilities, youth recruitment, you've got a long way into a save. There might be 1 or 2 decent players that come through, but there will still be a lot of bad players that come through. And of course, it's just one club side that has these youth facilities. Other San Marino players that are coming through might come through at other teams in San Marino, and those other clubs, they have awful youth recruitment and youth facilities, which is still going to hold us back a lot here. The other club sides don't have all of the great facilities and recruitment that we have here at Victor San Marino. So it's still going to be a long old journey from this point. When we get our first intake, we'll have a look at just how good those players are. And of course, it will be relative to the league that we're playing in, which is the Italian Serie D league. We need to try and get ourselves promoted as quick as possible. And I am going to really restrict myself in terms of the players that I can use here. I'm going to only try to bring in players that are from San Marino. We've got 2 players here at the moment, Lazzari and Tosi. The rest of them mostly are Italian. I'm going to try and only sign and use San Marino players too, to try and make them as good as they can possibly be, and in turn make the national team as good as it can possibly be. Let's go and see how that first season has gone now. I felt like we needed a bit more of a description of just how hard this is going to be. Trust me, it's going to be hard. Let's go to the end of season 1 and see how things have begun. I'll give you an update on that. Come on. All right, welcome to the end of season number 1, and small steps forward have been made. This is the league table with Victor San Marino, the club side. We finished 3rd in Serie D and therefore missed out on promotion. So, like I say, small steps forward so far. 33 games, 20 wins, 5 draws and 8 losses, 65 points, 4 points off the top. Not ideal, but there's been some steps forward elsewhere that I'm still hopeful that if we keep going with this, we are going to see some success. So 3rd in the league here. But importantly, we have managed to increase our San Marinese contingent at club level. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in the first team squad for Victor San Marino. Players that have come through our youth intake. If you have a look at the ages here, 17, 16, 16, 15. The one that I'm most excited about, if you have a look at the ability and potential on these, of course, these are coming through our youth intake. We've had our youth intake in March, I think it was. Now we're into June at the end of the first season. The player that I'm most excited about is this one here. Giovanni Fantini has come through at 16 now, and he looks like he's going to be a genuine player. I don't know what this potential is going to be. If you think about it, it says he could improve a lot, and he's a Serie D style player or level player at the moment. But he looks pretty good. He's a striker with pretty well-rounded attributes and only 16 years old. If you think about how we looked at Nicola Nanni, the striker, and I said he's 6'3", this guy at 16 could definitely go and be a really good player. Really good pros and cons too. He has actually, if you look here, already scored his first goal for the national team. If I show you his goal here, we did lose 2-1 to the Faroe Islands in a friendly, but the promising signs is that Fantini starting up front alongside Nanni here. We're playing a bit of a back 5 type system here because it makes sense to have a little bit of defensive solidity. Even if the Faroe Islands were too good for us on this particular day, Fantini scoring the goal. This was the goal that he scored from the corner, whipped into that near post. Nanni misses it, and then Fantini smashes home on a yellow card. There are signs of life in this team. Also, another player that I wanted to show you in this national team that I'm actually feeling pretty good about. You see already, look, other players that are looking good in terms of the ability and potential, better than they were before anyway. The other player that I wanted to show you was Zavoli, who is now only 17. He's come through in the intake as well at Victor San Marino and is a decent left back. A lot of quality about him, especially in the context that he's actually playing in at the moment. So whilst there hasn't been massive success, we've not been promoted, we've had enough players coming through to keep me feeling like we're on the right journey here. The next step is going to be these Nations League games here. We've got Moldova, Andorra in our Group D. So these games here, if we can pick up some wins, which is going to be tough considering we have just lost to the Faroe Islands, there is a chance that we can get ourselves a playoff place to go and qualify for the European Championships. We've seen it recently in real life with teams like Georgia getting themselves into the situation through the Nations League. I feel like it's our best bet here. So we're going to jump forward to this next and just see if we can make something happen. And alongside that, we'll keep going with Victor San Marino, trying to bring in players. You can see here the only players that here's one look, I'm trying to bring in Giuseppe Petroni from the San Marino Academy, which is another San Marino team. We've got Jacobi Mori. Basically, any youth intake players that are San Marinese that have a bit of potential, I'm trying to bring in. The only players that I brought in, or the only player I brought in so far, is Matteo Vitaioli, who is from San Marino. We're going to only bring in players that are from San Marino to try and make this team better. Going to be a long journey. I keep saying it. But let's continue by going. There's the results there. Look, let's continue by going to these Nation League games and seeing how we get on against Moldova and Andorra. Come on. Okay, so those Nation League games, they didn't go exactly to plan, but San Marino have won a game For the first time in 20 years, we beat, look at us, we beat Andorra 4-0. We finished bottom of the Nations League group. We didn't qualify for the Euros, but we won a game 4-0. Let me show you these goals here. Playing a 4-2-4 system. We went for it, actually using the same system that I've been using with Victor San Marino, the club side, and it worked. We dominated San Marino. It turns out that this youth intake has produced more players or better players than I even first anticipated in the last part of the video. Fantini gets the first goal. We looked at him just before, didn't we? He is a real prospect. Regini down the left-hand side here. Grandoni picks it up. We'll have a look at the squad after this. Nani, the header there. He's the 6'3" striker we looked at right at the start. 2-0 inside the first half. Second half begins. In fact, right at the end of the first half, going in 3-0 up. Ugolini with the goal there. Look, lovely finish from Paolo Ugolini. And then second half to cap off a completely one-sided affair. The finish with the second attempt there from Regini. 4-0. Have that, Andorra. San Marino win football games. Dominate football games, no less. We even had a penalty miss at the end from Berardi. Let me show you this national team squad, because if I sort them by the age here, this is where the youth intake really came to the fore. From 17 upwards, look. All of these players have come through youth intakes at different sides. And if I show you, maybe if I do a club side here, show you the club that they're at. Lots of them are at Victor San Marino, our team here. Some of them are elsewhere. This one I really wanted to show you. Ugolini, we saw him in that game there. He's at Cesena in Italy, and he looks like he might be one of our better players just generally. He's got 2 goals in 4 caps already for the national team. He's a defensive midfielder with 18 work rate, 17 aggression. Not the quickest, but really promising, playing for Cesena, who are in Serie B, so the second division in Italy as well. He's a real prospect, as well as some of these ones at the top here. If we look at the 5-star ones, Donati's just off that. Regini we looked at before. This is a really good one. Matteo Seschetti, who plays for San Marino Academy, who turns out are going to produce some... Their youth recruitment's okay. Their youth facilities are just okay, but they are producing some really good young footballers that we're going to hopefully be able to bring into this national team as well. So I'm even more encouraged about the future of this here. I know that we did finish ultimately bottom of Group D here. 4 games, 1 win, 3 losses. But there is definite hope, as well as the fact that actually with Victor San Marino, so far this year, we are top of the league. Nicola Nani, that big striker, 6'3", has got 14 goals. We've got 28 points from 14. Top of the league, looking like we might be able to get promotion. The more we get promoted, the better players we can attract to bring to us. We'll keep the ball rolling and go from there. We're in a good spot. I'm feeling good about this. We're going to go to the end of this second season now and see if we can just build from here. The next aim for the national team then is going to be looking forward to the next qualifiers. We've not qualified for the Euros here, but we'll be looking ahead to the next tournaments, see if we can build on this victory. Beating Andorra, we're on a winning run. I mean, it's just 1 so far, but we're on a winning run right now. I'll see you at the end of season number 2 and see how much more progress we can make. I'm feeling good. So you know how the saying goes, you wait 20 years for your first victory, and then another one comes along straight away. After beating Andorra in that last game, we followed it up with another win. We beat North Macedonia 3-2, and this was in our first World Cup qualifier here. We beat them 3-2 after going 1-0 up. We then, they equalised 1-1. They gave it away to us. Nani made it 2-1. It was a real ding-dong affair, this one. We made it 3-1 after that. Towards the end, 85th minute here. Zavoli down the left-hand side, crossing to Fantini. We've had a look at... It's the same players' names that are popping up, as you'll notice. It's lots of those youth intake players, as well as Fanny, the other striker. Nani, the other striker there. Almas made it 3-2 at that stage, and that was the final score. It was a big victory in the World Cup European qualifying section. We were now on cloud 9, winning games, back-to-back games. The only thing that could bring us down was if we came up against a really good, tough team next, right? And yeah, that's what happened. We lost 8-0 to England straight after this, which really did bring us back down to earth. I tried to keep... Do you know what? This is maybe a mistake. You know how I was playing 5 at the back beforehand? We tried to continue playing the 4-2-2 thing that we've got, this 4-2-4 type system. Very attacking. And this England team here tore us to absolute shreds, to be honest. 8-0, the final score in that one. We've got England in our group. Since then, we lost to Serbia 2-1. But then most recently, got another win. 3 wins. 3 wins already at the start of this save after, 2 seasons? Dominating those Faroe Islands that we lost to recently. I mean, back in the first season. This was like a real measure of where we've come, I think. That we can now beat the Faroe Islands. 3-1. Cachetti, Berardi, and then another goal from Cachetti before the end there. A dominant win. And this team is getting better and better. We've had another youth intake, of course. If I show you then, we've still got them sorted here by the ages. If I show you some extra players that have come in, 2 new players have joined our ranks by the names of Marco Ferri and Dario Perry. Both of them pretty good. Both of them coming through at our club, as well as all of these San Marino academies. That's going to be where the players come from. Look, if you look at the ages and just where the players are coming from, lots of them are our club side, which, by the way, is going pretty well itself. We are now champions and going to the Serie C in Italy. Champions after winning 22 of our 33 games, 73 points. Great form towards the end of the season. The club side is looking pretty good too, with, if I sort them by the national players now, looking at more and more San Marinese before, well, as each day goes by. And I'm trying to play as many of these youngsters in as many of the games as we possibly can. The standout players still in there. Regini, who's really, really good. The striker down here, Fantini, we looked at lots of times before. And yeah, you can kind of see them by their star ratings down here. A few Italians still left over from before, but I'm trying to bring in as many of these San Marinese players as possible. All of the players that I've brought in here, look, for the second season are all from San Marino. Mattia Muracchini, brought in from Poggibonsi. There's another one just to show you all the way through. All of these players, I'm only bringing in players from San Marino. Lots of them, actually, I'm trying to sign the players that are already in the national team so that I can play them at club level and hopefully they develop, especially trying to focus on those younger players, because the better we can make them with this club, you know, with them being a good, strong base for them, with decent training facilities and really good youth recruitment and youth facilities, there's a more chance that they're going to go and score goals for the national team. And going to the league above now, I'm hoping we can try and bring in even better players. We don't have loads of money to spend. 300k is the budget around about here. So lots of them will be free transfers, but we're on the up. We're on the up on the club side of things, and we're on the up very much so on the national team side of things. With 2 wins so far in this World Cup qualifier, our group looks like this. We're 4th. In behind Serbia, Ireland and England. England have won all of their games so far. Harry Kane is the top goal scorer in the entire competition. But we're in with a shout. -6 goal difference there. But we can beat North Macedonia and the Faroe Islands, as we've shown. If we can grab a result against Ireland or Serbia, there's a chance we could sneak in. Probably not, but we're definitely making progress. And I think it will once again go to that Nations League system where you can grab yourself a playoff spot, because you come up against teams that are of a similar level. I really now think with the progress we've made that we can hopefully grab a playoff spot and maybe, just maybe, qualify for the World Cup or the Euros after that. Each time though, slow but steady progress continues to be the aim. Let's just see where we can go to. If I just show you as well, I wanted to point out how our 2 strikers have been going. It's our National League strike force of Nani and Fantini. The 2 of them are unbelievably good. They scored so many goals in this club campaign. Fantini especially is becoming the star of the show. He's only 17, and it just goes to show that if you can get youth players in that have okay potential, if you play them from early on, they can really develop. He's turning into a genuinely good player. I wonder if it actually says he's wanted actually at the moment by some really good teams. Sampdoria and Hellas Verona, Sassuolo, like top level teams want to buy him from us, which we're going to try and hopefully avoid selling him. Even though actually if he goes to one of those teams and plays well, then maybe that might help him develop too. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. Obviously the main aim is to take the national team to the very top, but we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. Let's jump forward and see how we go in the remainder of those World Cup qualifiers. Can we go and grab ourselves a spot at a major tournament? It's a big ask, but let's go find out. And so at the end of this World Cup qualifying group, I think we can look back on this and think it was a really, really solid campaign. Really solid. I mean, we didn't qualify, obviously. We finished 4th in our group in the end. But from 10 games against teams like England, Ireland, Serbia, and North Macedonia and the Faroe Islands, we picked up 4 wins. Just put that in the context of the entire history of this nation. 1 win before we started. We've got 4 in 1 qualifying campaign, 13 points. It's truly something to be proud of. And actually, we've established ourselves as being better than other teams like North Macedonia and Faroe Islands. We beat them home and away in this campaign. It was the 3-2 win that we had a look at beforehand, and then the 3-1 win against the Faroe Islands this time. Cachetti scoring twice in that one. I think we saw that before. We then lost to Ireland and to England. We lost 7-1 to England. I did try and be a bit more pragmatic in the England game, actually. I've been switching between the 4-2-2 and then using more of a 5 at the back system. I went with 3 strikers in this one just to try and make something happen. Nothing did happen, is the result of that. We did score a goal, I suppose. Fantini got that goal, but it was our one shot on target. England are just too good. But we're not really trying to be competing with England at this stage, are we? It's teams like North Macedonia, who we beat 3-2. Fantini scored twice. Just honestly, he's a hero. I love him so much, both for the club side and the national team. I mean, look at these club side numbers. 10 in 12 appearances this year so far. 20 goals in 30 appearances last year. This guy is a superstar, and he scores most of our goals for the national team. We beat North Macedonia 3-2, narrowly being beaten by Serbia at home. We gave them a real game here. And then we beat the Faroe Islands 3-1. Home and away wins against them and North Macedonia. And maybe, I think, the best indicator of how far we've come, we managed to draw a game against Ireland. An Ireland team that has decent Premier League level players in it. We played with the 5 at the back, been switching between this and the 4-2-4, which we used against teams like North Macedonia and the Faroe Islands. This Ireland team has Evan Ferguson up front, for Pete's sake. McAteer, and genuinely Quaveen Kelleher in goal, genuine Premier League level players, and we drew with them and actually gave them a proper game as well. Our XG was actually higher. Nani got our goal late on. In fact, let's have a watch of that goal because we need to celebrate these things. Drawing against Ireland gives me all of that hope that we need, that maybe at some point we can qualify for a major tournament. We have the Nations League games coming up soon. We're going to find out who are in our group for that one. Here's this goal from Nani. Look, ball over the top. Cachetti gets it, crosses it. Nani scores 1-1. It was given as onside by VAR. We've got those Nation League games coming up. If we can win that Nations League group, give ourselves the chance of that playoff game to try and qualify for a tournament, that has to be the order of the day now. The World Cup is not going to happen for us, but the Euros after that, maybe, just maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Just to show you the national team as well, we are making huge progress with this. We've had a couple of extra players joining us. Gasparoni, Albertini have come into the side from Samagnano and the San Marino Academy, which are producing all sorts of players for us that we're bringing into this national team. And just to highlight that, if I go all the way down between Gasparoni and Muracini here, all of these players are now new gen players that have come through youth intake since we've started the save. Now, there's only a handful of players that are real life players that are in the national team. We're developing a group of players that we can develop and turn into our national team. And when they turn 22 and 23 and 24, maybe by then they're going to be really good players that we can take to proper tournaments. That's kind of the aim, because they're all 18 to 16 here. If I just show you the club side as well and show you maybe we're doing all right back in Serie B now. We could go joint top if we win our game in hand, or at least joint on points at the top here. Fantini, I showed you before, is scoring all of the goals. We've made a few more signings. Got a little bit of money to spend. We spent 5k on Valentini, who is he's a youngster, 16-year-old, who is in that. He scored 1 goal actually in his first game in the national team. And 2 players that you might recognise. Colombo was the keeper that we saw right at the start of the video where we were looking at who was in the national team already. He's now our club goalkeeper as well. We brought him in for 45k. Then the free signing of another national team player, a bit of a stalwart in that team, 28-year-old Berardi. We've seen him pop up with a few goals, I think. He came in on a free transfer. There's 1 or 2 more on here too, only bringing in those San Marino players. The club is looking good. The squad is starting to look pretty good. We're doing okay in the Serie C, looking to try and get to the Serie B. I think I made a mistake before and called it Serie B. Serie C, sorry. Looking to try and get promoted this year. If we do that and we make a good start in those Nation League games, we keep the ball moving, we keep the ball rolling. I wanted to show you as well, in terms of the national team, we are making a few strides forwards. From 210th in the world, we're up to 198th. I think with that World Cup qualifying campaign, we should go up in these rankings a little bit more. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, which is where we are, not quite at the bottom anymore. We're just below Somalia, just above Eritrea, but I think 808 points. We've gone up 9 places. I think that was before the World Cup qualifiers. I think with a couple of those wins and by drawing to teams like Ireland, we should make huge jumps, I think. And we're going in the right direction. We're definitely going in the right direction. What we need to go and do next is go and have a look at, well, they've not been drawn yet. Go and find out our Nations League group with the national team. And that's going to be where our priority is going to be lying, as well as trying to bring in as many San Marino players at Victor San Marino, which is getting there, by the way. If I just sort it by by nationality. There's a huge base of San Marino players that we are using. Just a handful of Italian players still surviving in the team. And hopefully this will become fully San Marino in the not too distant future when more of these players come in. We're not too far away from another youth intake, are we? Being in November at the moment. I'll see you, though, when we find out our Nations League group. And hopefully, because it's the way that it's drawn, hopefully we can win a couple of those. See you then. Okay, so our Nations League group will be Andorra, Malta, and ourselves. And I think these are all eminently winnable games. I think based on the results we got against North Macedonia, the Faroe Islands, I think we can expect to beat teams like Andorra and Malta these days. I think we're that good, as well as some more progress being made. It's now the 24th of September 2026, and we're going to put a big amount of priority on trying to get results in these, because it can really be a path to qualifying for those major tournaments, as we have seen. We have beaten Georgia in a friendly recently as well. We have, of course, made strides with the club side, Victor San Marino, as well, which you may notice we are now playing in the Serie B. We did again get promoted. Last season was a glorious season. If we go back down to the Serie C, in fact, if I go to the games here, if I show you this Serie C table, we finished very much in the promotion spots. There we go. 83 points from our season, 26 wins. Very, very neck and neck, actually, with Spal, but they pipped us by 1 point by we drew a game. No, we lost a game where they drew a game. It couldn't have been much tighter, but in the end, it didn't really matter. We finished just above Cesena, who have that one player that we've been trying to get for ages as well, right? 83 points. We are in the Serie B, which gives us a good chance of attracting more and more players. If I show you that squad side, if we go look at them now, there are one or two actually. If I go to ability, as well as Fantini just being the best player by far, he's actually got a huge value now. Now that we've gone up a division, he's valued at nearly £5 million and isn't wanted by those big teams anymore. But what a player we have on our hands here. Love him to bits. If I just show you his goal scoring record as well. 47 goals in 41 last year. He's gone to new levels. We play a really attacking brand of football, and this guy just loves to score the goals. He's really well-rounded, big, tall and strong. Fantini is going to fire us to hopefully success in this save. There are one or two other players that I wanted to show you as well. In fact, the best way maybe to show you how we do that is to go to the national team, because this is really where the focus is. But we've got a couple of new players coming in. We had an Alessandro Chiaruzzi. We've got a new Chiaruzzi. His name is Marino Chiaruzzi. Great potential. And I think he might just be our Lionel Messi of the save. 16 years old, left-footed, diminutive type winger. He's actually 5'11", so maybe a bit taller than Messi. I just wonder, hopefully, he's come through at San Marino Academy, but we are signing him permanently for our club. I think there is a chance that this guy could be a good player for us, as well as, who was the other player that I just saw on there? Berardi's come in. He's a centre-back. Dos Santos, he's the one. AC Milan, he's come through the AC Milan youth intake, and he's San Marinese, and he's 16, and he's got good potential, and he's got really good value. Fingers crossed that he could be a real player for us in the future. Nicolas Dos Santos, keep an eye out for him. He could be great. We're continuing to build this squad of these young players. There's now like, what? I think there's, yeah, Muracini's the one. There's now what? Five players that are real players. The rest are new gens that we're trying to cultivate, develop into this team that can get us to major tournaments. We're now into the Serie B with our team here. All of the history, the transfer history, again, only signing those San Marino players. There's Ugolini, who I've loaned from Cesena. Do you remember how we've just pipped them? He's been there since the start. He now plays for us. Bacciocchi on a free. Sacchetti, we've seen a lot of him in the national team as well. He's come in on a free transfer, the young striker. And then most recently, Donati has come in too. And I think there's a few more on here as well. But the names are much of a muchness. The focus is this national team. Focus now are these European Nations League games, where if we win them, we're going to give ourselves a good chance. And I think we've got a great chance of winning them. Let's go and find out how those games go. And just look at this. Look at this. This Nations League, which I've talked up the importance of for so long now. It went amazingly. We played Andorra to start with, then Malta home and away. Home first, 3-1 win. Away from home, we beat them 5-1. And then Andorra, finally, another win. 4 wins from 4. Let me show you just some of the goals and the way that we were playing these games. Andorra first, away from home. We played with this 5 at the back system. It's It's a really fun system, actually. It's quite attacking despite the way that it looks, but it gives us a bit of defensive security too. Fantini got himself on the score sheet, as well as Berardi got himself 2. Berardi, who plays for us at Victor San Marino. You remember we signed him. Lots of these players now play for us at Victor San Marino. We won the first game 3-2. Bit of a back and forth affair, that one. Then Malta, we beat 3-1 at home. This one was a little bit more one-sided. We dominated in terms of the XG and the shots on the goal there. Fantini getting himself man of the match. He got the final goal, but Sacchetti got 2 goals before that as well. Sacchetti, another one, who's that young player that we've signed from the San Marino Academy. He looks really great, by the way, actually. Only 18 years old. He's got 10 goals in 13 games for this national team. This national team, I cannot keep saying it enough. It's turning into a genuinely good national team, perhaps underlined most by a 5-1 win against Malta, dominating them away from home using this 5-3-5-5-2-3 type system, I suppose you could call it, if you include the wing backs at the back there. Regini got a 10 out of 10. Sacchetti scored 4 in this game. What a player he is. In fact, I'm going to show you the goals in this game because, again, we need to celebrate these successes. This team is on the march. This team is on the march. We're going to get ourselves a playoff game now, which will give us a chance to qualify for a major tournament. We've got the European qualifiers coming up next. Those are going to be tricky because they include all the big teams. But then after that, there will be a qualifier, a playoff that gives us a chance of getting to that tournament. And that now becomes my entire aim. If we can qualify for a tournament, I genuinely, with 1 or 2 more additions, here are some of the goals then. We went 1-0 down. Sacchetti then scored the equaliser. 1 or 2 more additions, and I actually think we can go and pull up some trees. We can beat some of the bigger teams. We're not far away. If some of these players continue to develop, like Sacchetti, like Fantini, like that young Messi player that I looked at, like Regini on this left-hand side, who's a little bit older, actually, Regini. If they can keep developing and working together, we've got the cohesion because they play at club level and at national team level. I think we can go a long way. I really, really do. So here is the final goal. Look, it was Ferry down the right-hand side. He drives into the box. Regini scores the final goal there. Here is Regini, by the way. I said he's a bit older. He's 18, actually, isn't he? The names are a bit confusing, but just know, if I show you the national team here, just know we're very, very good. This is the national team here. Just by ability, Fantini, Colombo, the goalkeeper, a bit older. He's really good. If you just look at the clubs that they're playing for, there's Dos Santos at AC Milan. He looks great too. Most of them are playing for us at Victor San Marino, which, by the way, we're also continuing to do very well with. We are 7th in Serie B. 14 games in, we are more than holding our own in the 2nd division in Italy. Once we get to the top, we can try and bring in players like that AC Milan player, Dos Santos. We can try and bring them to the club too. And we're picking up more and more momentum as the save is going on. All attention now turns with the national team to the European qualifiers, which haven't been drawn yet, but I really think we've got a chance of making it. We've got another youth intake coming up soon. I really think we've got a chance of making it to the European Championships, and that will be a huge, huge goal to try and achieve. Let's go and find out who's in our group and see what we can do. Okay, so the European Championships qualifiers, the European Championships in 2028 is what we're trying to get to here. The qualifying groups have been drawn, and we've got Ireland, our old friends, who we managed to get a draw against last time, Finland, France, and Denmark. It's a tricky group, but actually I feel like we can get results against Ireland and Finland. Denmark and France might be a little bit trickier. We played one game. We drew to Finland in that game 1-1 away from home. So again, that gives me a bit more confidence. We can maybe beat them at home, maybe get results against Ireland home and away this time. France, I think we're going to lose to, but Denmark, I guess it depends what the condition Denmark are in at this stage of a save, but it's going to be tricky. Definitely not easy, but there's a little bit of hope there. We continue to move ourselves up the world rankings as well. Slowly but surely, I did wonder if we're going to jump these a little bit quicker based on some of our qualifying campaigns and the Nation League and stuff. We're still in 187th. We're still, apparently, according to this, a worse football team than Bangladesh and the Cook Islands and Nepal, like Malta, Montserrat. I don't think we are, but these rankings, they take a while to catch up with where you actually are. So we're going to keep climbing them, but going to be slow progress. I think the best team in the world right now is France. And of course, they're in our qualifying group, which, makes it a little bit more difficult. This team, though, is going good. It's going well. I was actually just having a look at just how many players are Victor San Marino players in the national team now. It is the majority. Some of them are really, really good players as well. I know I keep going on about him and keep showing him each time, but Giovanni Fantini just continues to go to new levels. His value is around about £10 million at this stage. He's still only 19. He is wanted by a couple of decent teams too. Like, there are teams from the UAE trying to buy him because they think he could just be worth a lot of money. 6'3", great technique, really good pace and acceleration now, 13-14, which is really good for... We're still in the Serie B. And in the Serie B, I should actually show you here, for Victor San Marino, we're going great guns. I think we've got a genuine chance of climbing ourselves up to the top division. Serie A, it's us and Torino at the very top here. Palermo just behind us. We're playing we're playing a very similar system. We call it Gazball. It's based on the Gary O'Neill system at Wolves, actually. This 5 at the back with 2 Segundo Volantes. It works really well in the engine, and despite some of these players being, San Marino players with 1.5 stop. Well, it's actually, these are the Italian ones. Despite them being San Marino players for the majority, we're getting results in what is a really competitive league now. Also, I wanted to point out too, 23 goals from Fantini, 20 goals from Coscetti. The two of them together as a strike force are brilliant. Coscetti playing a lot off the left-hand side as well. He's got decent pace and acceleration. I think ideally I'd want him as a striker. He's also wanted, actually. Some really good, like, Serie A type sides like Sassuolo and Cagliari and Empoli want to buy him too. Likes to love the goalkeeper. We're in a really good spot, both with the national team and with the club side. This club side too has some decent looking youth candidates that I wanted to show you as well. If we just click on the candidates page here, Alberti coming through, goalkeeper. He's a young San Marino keeper I'm actually maybe most excited for. Alberto De Lillo, who's come through the intake most recently. 15 years old. We're going to sign him. That's why he's got a bid on him there. A young central midfielder. He's actually almost naturally a Segundo Volante, which would suit us perfectly. At 15, he looks like he could well be the real deal in the future. Our youth intakes, the max youth rating that we've got is really showing that it works at this stage. We're also continuing to take players from our good friends at the San Marino Academy, which turns out is the only other youth academy that is presenting or producing good players from San Marino. So we keep bringing those players in, like Giaruzzi that we saw. I think we looked at him before, but we're going to go and see how these Euros qualifiers go next. Can we get ourselves to our first major tournament through the qualification groups? Let's go and find out. Okay, huge success at club level this time, where we were going gun for gun with Torino at the top of Serie B, and we have managed to get ourselves promoted. It was the top 3 actually that go up in Serie B. So in the end, we were really comfortable in that top 3. It was us, Torino and Palermo going to the top division in Italy. Little Victor San Marino are a Serie A side. If I show you the table from this season, we have yet to play a game, but we are all about survival. If I actually show the season preview, it's looking difficult. We are 1,000 to 1 to stay in the top division, but I believe that we can do it because I believe in this squad. We're playing this weird 4-2-2 type system thing that we've got going on. San Peroni it's called, which I've been really enjoying. The squad is coming together. If I actually show you just how many San Marino players are now in the squad. We are now fully San Marinese because every single player is from San Marino and pretty much all of them are in the national team as well. It's still headlined by Giovanni Fantini, and now he is a top tier player. He plays in the top division in a top 5 league. Have a look at his value. Just have a look at this. Probably easier for you to contextualize how good some of these players actually are now that you can see them with their values now that we are in the Serie A. We've got players that are valued between like £1 million and £10 million, and then Fantini, who's valued at 28 to 36 million pounds. He's actually grown as well. He's 6'4". I swear he was 6'3" before, wasn't he? He's a beast of a player. 19 years old and only going to get better. He's wanted by Salernitana, which we're not going to sell him to them because we're going to keep him. He's got 13 in 24 for the national team. And with all of the success of our Victor San Marino team and with all of the new signings coming in that are just brilliant players, Materazzi, by the way, big thank you to our good friends at the San Marino Academy because this guy looks like the real deal as well. We brought him in on a free. They continue to create great players down at the San Marino Academy, which almost is just our academy at this stage, isn't it? We've loaned some really good ones too. Nicolas Dos Santos, I told you, once we get to the Serie A, we can try and bring in players like this. We've managed to loan him, and I think hopefully eventually we'll get him permanently. But he's in on loan from AC Milan. All of the good players that are from San Marino we're trying to bring to our club, and then from there playing them together, getting success on the pitch, and hopefully in the end getting success with the national team, which hasn't really been the case. The European qualifying campaign hasn't got off to the best start. After that 1-1 draw with Finland, which we saw before, we've played Denmark home and away. We did draw away at home to them. We got a 1-1 draw. Højlund got a late equaliser for Denmark there. And then we did go away from home and lost 3-0. They're quite good. Højbjerg, Damsgaard, Højlund, all Premier League type players there, right? Got the 3 goals. We lost this game. We were down to 10 late on. Dos Santos got sent off. It's going to be a really tricky route to qualify for the major tournament, but I'm hoping we'll still have that playoff after this because of our Nations League performance, which maybe just still gives us a chance. We've got to still go and play France, Ireland, and another game against Finland too. It's going to be tricky, but we continue. We keep pressing on. This San Marino team, if I show you the national team now, they are all pretty much, apart from, I'll show here, Muracini's still that guy. All apart from 4 are new gen players now. I don't think Amici is a new gen. Yeah, we've got 4 real players left in there. One of them is a backup goalkeeper, and then one of them is the goalkeeper that plays for us as well. We're almost there where we're fully... One of them's Nani, which, if you remember from the start, has been a bit of a... He's been here a long time. He's played 56 games for the national team now. Fantini, to show you his record as well. I think I showed you before. 13 and 24 for him. In terms of at club level, though, another 27 goals. 94 in 116 games in his club career. He is a legend. He's a big fan of ours as well, a favoured person now. We love him. Hopefully he can keep firing us to victories. As we move on, we're going to finish this qualifying campaign. And then from there, hope that we get that playoff game. There's still a part of me that thinks we can get to these next Euros next year. A small part of me. Let's go and find out if we can do that. Okay, sort of back down to earth with a bit of a bang here. Now, I said we didn't start these European qualifiers particularly well. They continued in the same vein. They actually went really quite poorly, to be honest. After those Denmark results, the draw away at home and then the loss away from home, we had Ireland, who I had high hopes that we could get a result against because we drew to them before. We lost 5-1. Maybe they've just developed and players like Evan Ferguson have become even better. But even whilst playing the pragmatic 5 at the back type system, they cut through us just plenty of times. It was Sirkin got himself a couple of goals. Evan Ferguson's got himself 2 as well. They were way too good. They beat us 5-1. And then from there, it was France. They beat us 5-0. Always going to happen. This one was much more expected. A draw against Finland. We were 3-0 up in this one? I think it was 3-0 up. And then we threw it away, bottled it, and they came back to draw 3-3. And then we lost 2-0 at home to Ireland. I think they must have actually just got better because, yeah, both games we got nowhere near them. And yeah, to no surprise, when we go away to play France, they smashed us as well. Like Mbappe scored a hat-trick. What are you supposed to do? Mbappe scoring hat-tricks. We tried. We failed, but we did definitely try. It's not all doom and gloom, though. Now, at this stage, you might be thinking, okay, maybe the dream ends here because are these players going to get much better? Don't worry. Don't worry. The dream is not over because there is some light at the end of this tunnel. Because of our Nations League performance the season before with our wins against Andorra and Malta, we did get ourselves that playoff game. In the group stage, by the way, we finished in the group 4th out of 5, 3 points, minus 20 goal difference, but we still have a playoff route to the European Championship finals. It's the 28th of March, 2028. That tournament is coming up in a few months' time, and we might just get there because we just did something glorious. We had Czechia in the playoff semi-final, and we've beaten them on penalties. We snatched victory in a penalty shootout after drawing the game at 3-3. Here's our team and how we performed the game with this 5 at the back, 5-2-3 type system. We were really, really good. We had a lower XG than them. That's because they had a penalty, though, to equalise late on. We almost beat them in normal time. It went to penalties and we scored every single one. Sashetti, Nani, Zavoli, De Lillo, Perry and Muracini with the goals from the spot after Muracini, Sashetti and an own goal from Jurassic almost took us to winning in normal time. They managed to equalise late on. Penalty shootout was enough for us, though. We are going to a final in which we can qualify for the European Championships and we play Albania. Albania are ranked as 64th in the world. They have Silvino, the former Arsenal left back, as their manager. They have good players like Kumbula and Ramadani and some other good players in their team too. Haisaj is their captain. But I know Broja is their striker. I know that we can do this. I have high hopes that we can do this. And if we do, just imagine we can get this little San Marino team to go and play at a major tournament. Just an update on the rankings as well. We are 175th. It's really slow moving to get up these rankings, but we are moving up ever so slowly. Our team, I think, is good enough to go and win this game. We have Fantini, who's now valued at almost 50 million at the top end of his value range there. Alberti, the goalkeeper who's just come through, 16-year-old. I think I showed him before, is outrageously good too. Massive value on him. We've got Donati at right back. We're really good. In fact, I want to show you on here, insert the clubs that they're playing for, because all but two of them, one of them being Nani, who actually used to play for us, and Fabri, who we never actually managed to get, but he's just a backup goalkeeper, so I guess it's less important. All but two now play for the club side. The club side, by the way, doing really well, staying in Serie A, mid-table in Serie A, 11 wins, 13 losses, so nothing major, but Fantini is actually joint second in the goal-scoring ranks there. That just shows how good he is. It's all about, though, staying in the Serie A with the club team, but it's all about this playoff final against Albania. We're going to go and play it now. We're going to find out if we can do it. Can we qualify for the European Championships in 2028? Fingers crossed. Let's go and find out. And guess what? We've only gone and done it. After 13 minutes, Fantini, the man of the hour, the hero of this save so far, gave us the lead. Albania did bounce back with a Broja goal on 39 minutes. And then the second half, towards the end, 77 minutes, approaching on the clock. Fantini down the left. Ugolini in the middle made it 2-1 to us. And then we made sure. Fantini running through into the box, giving it to Ugolini, giving it to Muracini. Back of the net, 3-1. There was a missed penalty from Albania as well, from Bajrami in that game. 3-1 victory. Little San Marino, little tiny, but brilliant San Marino are going to the European Championships. You cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. But we are going to the European Championships. It's outrageous what we've managed to achieve here. And I actually think, I genuinely believe, with this team, the way that we play with some of the players, with Fantini leading the line, there's a genuine chance that we can do something here. There are good players throughout the squad, a real spine to it, and then, of course, a star man up front. I think we can genuinely pull up trees. We will find out what our group will be. We'll find out how all of that campaign is going to go, because that's where we're going next. We're going to find out whether Victor San Marino in the Serie A can stay up and what they can do there. Can we bring in more players? We're going to find out what the new gen players coming through the youth intakes are like. But it's going to be all about that European Championship, because I've got genuine belief. If we can beat teams like Albania, and who was it in the round before that? It was Czechia. Why can't we go and beat like enough teams to qualify for the knockouts or do something silly? Especially because these players are going to get better. They're so young. Look at the average age of this squad here. If I just sort it by age, 16 all the way up until here are all teenagers. They all play for us except for two. Why not? Why not dream big? Why not? Let's go and see what we can do. We're up to 172nd. That should take a huge jump if we're going to go and play at a major tournament. Fingers crossed that that is the case. Let's go and find out what's next for this San Marino, this brilliant group of San Marino players. Get in, come on. Right, you know how I was excited about the Euros? We've just had our draw for the groups, and look at this. We've got Belgium, Portugal, and Italy. We've got the absolute group of death. I am Albo. It's typical, isn't it? It's just typical. Thank you very much, Football Manager. We are going to our first major tournament, and we've been given a ridiculously tough group. Belgium, who are, where are they? They're 13th in the world. We've got Portugal, or Italy, sorry, who are 5th in the world. That's really easy. And Portugal, who are 10th in the world. And then there's little old us, who are, in fact, I'll show you on here, who are 172nd in the world. But we have Giovanni Fantini. And when you have him, I think you have hope. Because what a player he is. Right, I suppose the next thing to say is we're going to go get ourselves to this tournament. It's in June. We're now into April. We have had some extra little bits and bobs going on. But really, the main focus now is with Victor San Marino, where we're 13th in the league with a few games to go in the league title. We're not going to get relegated. We're pretty much safe, a 0 goal difference. Just a season where we're trying to, solidify ourselves in that top division. We are trying to bring in players all the time as well. Players that are going to be, some from San Marino and going to establish themselves in our squad. But at the moment, our main focus is going to be this European Championship. We start with Italy, then Portugal, then Belgium. Where is the European Championship? It's in Turkey this year. So can we take our boys to Turkey and come away with some results, cause some upsets? I feel like it's going to be really difficult. But I don't know. If we can beat Czechia and Albania, can we get results against these? Probably not, right? But let's go and find out. Come on. Let's believe. Believe, you San Marino legends. Believe. Come on. Okay. It's the 13th of June. San Marino are about to go and play in the European Championship finals. We've got Italy in our first game. And these boys here are the heroes that are going to lead us to victory. Maybe. They are the heroes that got us here, though. The goalkeeper, Colombo. Of course, most of these playing for Victor San Marino in the Serie A for us as our club side. Colombo in goal. It's Ferry. It's Materazzi, who came through at San Marino Academy. We've picked him up since then. He's going to play in the centre of defence. And then it's going to be Berardi, another Victor San Marino player playing left side of centre-back. He's right-footed, but needs must in that position. The right back is going to be Donati. He is a fantastic player for us at Victor San Marino. His 29th cap. Zavoli on the left-hand side. Ugolini and Perry in the middle. Do you remember when these two came through together? Perry and Ferry. They are both in the side. On the wings, we have Regini on the left-hand side. A Victor San Marino player on loan from Udinese at the moment. He's had a good season for us. Very solid indeed. 10 assists from the left-hand side. Hoping that we can make him a permanent transfer in the future. Still only 19 himself. On the right-hand side, Chiaruzzi. We looked at him before, the young Messi type player we called him. He is joining us permanently next January, because then, I don't know why, it's when he turns 18, I think it is. But he will be coming in. He's going to start on the right-hand side. And then, of course, up front, Giovanni Fantini, the hero, the legend. I want to see it in the comments down below. I want the plaudits for Fantini, because he's our boy, wanted now by Atalanta. Big teams really have been looking at him. He's actually listed as a wonder kid. I don't know if he was for a long time, which I think is to do with where his like PA actually is or something. But he is a wonder kid, and he is going to be leading our line. He's got a great record for us. 18 and 32, looking to fire us the goals. Can we get through the group? If we get through the group, that is success. If we can, do you know what? If we lose every single game, this is still success. But I'm so proud of where the boys have got themselves to. I'm so proud of where we've come and got ourselves along the journey. Still 170th in the world rankings. There's still a long way to go. But can we do ourselves proud in these European Championships? Let's start with Italy. Come on. Okay, perhaps inevitably and predictably, we lost the first game against Italy. It was 5-1, the final score. Fantini actually gave us the lead here after 15 minutes. We'll have a look at his goal before it was a bit of a procession from Italy after that. Profundi especially got himself a hat-trick. It was a penalty to begin with, then two pretty quick-fire goals, 37-48, and then a final goal from Moro at the end to make it 5-1. This was the opening goal, though. Sacchetti shot, bounces all the way back out. Fantini picks up on the turn. Beats Donnarumma in the goal, and at this stage I was thinking, hello, we could go and win the whole thing at this stage. Wasn't quite to be in the end. There's they've quite a similar system actually. Profundi in the number 10 role got the goals. Doggy at left side, I think he got a couple of assists. He got one of the assists anyway. Tonali in that midfield. It's a good Italy side. It really shows us that what we're up against here. It's not going to be easy. So a 5-1 loss in the first one. We move swiftly through though. Portugal next, then Belgium. I've actually realised as well that because it's only 4-man group, there's a lot of different groups. The way that this works in 2028 is the top two go through automatically, but some of the third place teams can go through. So I think one win or maybe even a draw might sneak us through in some way. There is still a chance that we can go through, and that is kind of my main aim here. If we can get through to the knockouts, I'll be over the moon. Let's go and find out how we can do against Portugal. And heartbreakingly, we almost got a result against Portugal. Even that draw would have been so nice, but it was a 1-0 defeat. Gonçalo Ramos with the goal in the second half. We gave a really good fight against what is a really strong Portugal team as well. João Neves, Ramos, Bruno Fernandes playing as a striker here, Bernardo Silva. I mean, look at, they're stacked in terms of talent. Even their bench has players that we could never dream of having, but we gave them a game. We didn't play great on the day, actually. We were kind of very defensive, like 6.3s and 6.1s all over the place. Almost enough to get a draw, but not quite. At this point, you're thinking, two games, 2 losses. We're probably going out, right? Well, wrong. Because we've played another game. Belgium, in the final game of the group stage, we have beaten them. I can't even believe I'm saying this. We have beaten them by 4-1. Let me show you those goals. These glorious and potentially next round securing goals as we played Kevin De Bruyne's Belgium team and smashed them out of the park. It was a glorious day in Turkey. Donati down the right, deflected into the box. Regini with the finish for 1-0 after 17 minutes. And then from there, the procession continues. 35, Sacchetti. What a header that is, by the way. Straight past Courtois, another set piece. We have to make the most of set pieces, and we are really good at them. Sacchetti off of the knockdown there. De Bruyne did float the ball into the box, and they eventually got themselves a goal back here through De Bruyne as it bounced back to him. But it wasn't to be. That only made it 3-1. We made it 4-1 with Ugolini down the right, and of course, I know if it's any game where San Marino score goals, Fantini's always there, right? And he got us the final goal in the 90th minute, 4-1. The result, and that means in the European Football Championships, somehow, I guess, was it goal difference? I'm not even sure. Somehow that is enough to see us through to the knockouts. We are one of those third place teams where we sneak through to the knockout rounds. Teams like Croatia, I guess it must be that one. In fact, that last goal from Fantini was the reason we've gone through, because we had a -2 goal difference. Romania had -3. And otherwise, they'd had the same and they might have gone through. Maybe we'd score more, but still, it was actually vitally important that we got the goals that we did. We've gone through as a third place team. And that means after this, we will be playing Spain. Now, surely we have no chance, right? This Spain team, if we click on them, Unai Emery is the manager. This Spain team has players like Pedro Porre, Rodri, Pau Torres, Gavi in there, Lamine Yamal, of course, at 20 now, and he is valued at nearly 200 million, maybe over 200 million. Yeremy Pino, joke of a player too, Ansu Fati. It's a good Spain team. Surely we have no chance, right? Well, no. Wrong. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but we beat Spain 5-2 in a knockout game in a European Championships. It was Cacchetti with the opening goal, Materazzi with the second inside the first 6 minutes. And at this stage, we're just in dreamland. I mean, Spain did come back. Iglesias into Sami Omarodian to make it 2-1. And then straight after that, they actually made it 2-2. You could be forgiven for thinking we fell apart here. Iglesias again into Sami, the same route to goal there for 2-2. But did we fall apart? No. Because these San Marino boys, they're young, but they are full of promise and full of heart. And De Lillo made it 3-2. And then after that, we continued to just keep the pressure on. Cacchetti into Valentini, into the bottom corner, 4-2. And then finally, to round things off, Valentini to Dos Santos, into the box, to Fabri, to Perry, to Cacchetti. What football we are playing. I don't understand what's going on. We're just playing our usual stuff. Fantini actually didn't even score a goal here. Cacchetti was the star of the show. We've got ourselves through after beating Spain. I mean, look at this Spain team. I actually think, did they rest players in this one? Because they had Omarodian and Iglesias up front. No Fati, no Lamine Yamal. I think they took us lightly. Pino did play. Did they think they could beat us without the likes of Rodri in there? And did they rest players? Because that's not their full strength team. And we managed to beat them. They actually had decent XG too, but 17 shots, 10 on target. We've beaten them. We've scored 5 goals. We beat them 5-2. And it sets up a next round game, a quarter-final game with Switzerland. And now, thinking of this, we've just beaten Spain. We've just beaten Belgium. We can beat Switzerland. Like, genuinely, I think we're favourites going into this. And if we can get, like, there's a chance for a European Championship semi-final here. And all we have to do is beat Switzerland. So let's go and beat Switzerland. And of course we beat Switzerland. This team is on a roll. And Switzerland were no match for us. And Fantini turned up in this one. A 3-0 victory. We actually took our chances. Didn't create all that much. Just 9 shots. But a 3-0 comprehensive victory. Fantini opening the scoring after 18 minutes with this goal here. It was a ball out wide from Materazzi there. Sacchetti picks it up. It comes back to Zavoli. And then Fantini, the boy, the main man, scoring at the opening goal. And then from there into the second half here, look, and we just kept off on that gas. Sacchetti, those two together, outrageously good. If we're going to go and win a semi-final, which is the next task here. Let me show you who we've got as well, by the way, after this game. It's going to be down to those two in a big way. Regini with the third goal. Switzerland, no match for us. And that sets up... Wait for this. That sets up a European Championship semi-final against England. Of course it's against England. If you remember back, one of our first games in this entire save was an 8-0 loss to England. We lost 7-1 to them as well. Now we have the chance to beat them in a European Championship semi-final. It will not be easy, but just imagine, we've beaten Spain, we've beaten Belgium, we've beaten Switzerland. Why not? Who says no? Who says no, Football Manager? Let's go and beat England and make it to a European... I can't even believe that I'm saying this. Make it to a European Championship final. Because who says no? Okay. So it turns out Football Manager says no. We gave it everything. We gave it everything, but ultimately, we've lost 7-2. We always lose by loads of goals to England, and I'm so proud of these boys. But 7-2, let's have a look at how it went. It was actually a hilarious game of football. We took the lead inside the first minute from Fantini. Right on the line of offside, it was onside. Fantini gave us the lead, and we're in dreamland at this stage. 1 minute on the clock. Can you imagine if that was real life? England conceding to San Marino inside the first minute. England didn't want that to be the case, though, and they did try and fight back. This was an offside goal, I believe, from Rashford in the 13th minute. And then from there, the game just turns into this weird back and forth, strange old affair. That's the disallowed goal from Rashford. Didn't take them long, though. Reece James got his first goal of the game on 20 to make it 1-1 at this stage. This was was it a penalty from him? No, it was a free kick right on the edge, wasn't it? Yeah, we conceded a free kick here, right on the line. It was almost a penalty. Reece James deflected through the wall and then 1-1. Just the first of a comedy of a weird football game that this ended up being. If we have a look at the stats over the side here as well. After James equalised, we went up the other end in the 28th minute and managed to get ourselves back in front. Really against the run of play, actually, at this stage too. Regini, lovely finish with his left foot. Aaron Ramsdale, a little bit susceptible in the goal there. And then from there, I mean, to be honest, England ran rout a little bit. It was a goal from Rashford, which we'll watch here. Rashford with James, starts with James down the right-hand side. He crosses it. Rashford at the back post. Simple goal from them. And then Bukayo Saka. This is on 33 minutes. At this stage, it's 2-2 after about half an hour. Bukayo Saka made it 3-2 to England, and for the first time, they were in front. Bellingham with a little slip-through ball. Saka in too much space. Good finish from him. 3-2 to England, and then it gets just weirder and weirder from this point. There was a missed penalty from Marcus Rashford on 38 to make it 4-2. Then Ugolini did this. This was possibly... there's possibly a police order against Ugolini's name now after this tackle. It wasn't great. We passed it out. Look, Ugolini has it there. He gives it out wide. Then eventually it comes back into the middle and Ugolini does this. Mainu picks it up in the England team, by the way, which I think is quite fun, actually, isn't it? That you see him because he's obviously really good in real life at the moment. Ferry has it. Eventually, look, Mainu has it. Bellingham has it. And Ugolini does that. Yeah, he gets a red card. And then at this stage, 3-2 down. They've missed a penalty. We're down to 10 men. They were going to win the game, weren't they? Reece James got his second of the game. Then there was an own goal from Berardi. This is a ridiculous own goal as well that I just want to show you. Imagine like the run we've been on, then to concede that. Like, what's going on? What is it, Football Manager? This is when I said who says no, and then Football Manager very much says no. Reece James got himself a hat-trick. Reece James scored a hat-trick against us. And it was a brilliant hat-trick as well. A free kick, a good goal, and then that finish into the top corner as well. That made it 6-2, and then there was still time right at the end for Phil Foden to make it 7-2 with a nice little, another pretty simple goal, to be honest. Bellingham down the right-hand side, Foden in the middle, 7-2. But do you know what? I'm so proud of these boys. What a run we've been on against all of the odds. There is no reason for us. Little old San Marino, who are ranked at 147th in the world, to go and take themselves to a European Championship semi-final. It is only the start, though. We have some incredible players coming through. Some incredible players that are only going to get better. Just 20 years old, Fantini. This San Marino team, I truly believe, can just go and get better and better. With all of these players that play for us, we're going to try and loan these guys. This Victor San Marino team is only going to get better now that we've established ourselves in the top division. In Serie A, we are, again, predicted to finish bottom. But we're going to do what we can do. And this, I think, is only going to be part one. I think we continue this journey because we set out at the start, didn't we, to make San Marino the best team in the world. We're still only 147th, but we've shown what we can do. So I guess we're going to have to make another video. I guess this is only part 1, and it's a long video already. If you've enjoyed it, please do let me know. Subscribe to the channel and let me know if you want to see a part 2 to this as we continue this journey. I feel like we have to. But yeah, I really do hope you've enjoyed it. It's been so much fun to play and to make. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. And let's get some plaudits in there for Fantini. Your comment, if you made it to the end, can be Fantini is my GOAT, is the comment. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, so much fun, FM.